They can't swim or float. They physically push themselves off from one side of the pool to the other, gliding like a beautiful ballerina. And right now, the main reason why I encourage you to do so is that last week we actually had a baby Okapi born here. So make sure to come see the little ones. The wildlife were taken away from their homes and they're sold in pet markets and in meat markets. And you heard me right when I said meat, as in it is meat for the reason to bring this up is to your right side, you might be able to see the monkeys that call the area home. It's up to our red-tailed winans and Howling swamp monkeys. So if we just stand up and we get a better look at one of them here today. We're a non-profit here at the San Diego Zoo. So by coming to one of our two doors today, you truly allow us to make a world where all life thrives. If you come back here in a little bit, you're all about flamingo. But flamingo is singular. Now if you take that highway 30 miles up north, you'd end up at our second door, that being our safari park, which is roughly around 20 times bigger in our society. Of course, we're not located in that pure clothing our real baby. And if it becomes possible, we'll also be able to bring back other species that have been long gone down history back into modern day. To your right, you might be able to see some of the demos that call the area home, as well as the lecture kudu. This is the taller ones in here with the white stripes down their side. Two beautiful polar bears that represent our oceans. And in just a moment here, I'll be parking the bus to give you a chance to look on in. 3,000 of them, showing us the positive impact we can have on wildlife. Also passing by the home of the wordy pigs, or females that call the area home. Simply get their names with the little words that are mounted on their sound. We also have the home giraffe kind of look like that. But one of the coolest things about it is that it can live its life without drinking any water. It's all. We also have our peccaries, known as living fossils, found during the last ice age during the time of the woolly mammoth, believed to be extinct until a small population of them was found in South America of the species. On your left is our sky safari, which is included with your admission here today. Takes on a quick 3-minute trip from the back visit here toward the front, or if you want to catch up with the front here to the back, whatever you have the Florentine feeders to your right side, currently showing Animal Kingdom, the Wild Ways. On the left is the home to wildlife found all throughout the Americas, has over 18 different names. So the most common ones you know to find is the cougar, the pool on top of the rocks on top of their home. One of them is laying down here closer to us, the other one of course in the very back walking. Now Sierra and Taco here, we're in the cellar. You'll see them both sleeping on top of the pedestal here. Now lions spend about 20 hours of their day sleeping. Main reason this is because they don't know when their next meal will be. But by sleeping throughout, it means that because of its good looks and its good personality traits, we protect them. Comes from things like movies, like the movie The Lion King, that portrays them well. People who are born, life doesn't even live in the jungle. There's a grass enough to see her, you're free to do so. But once again, she's currently sleeping on the ground in the middle of the tall grass. You'll notice her size isn't very big. You'll notice that her coloration allows her to blend in with the tall grass and the sunlight. She has a white belly that blends in with the sky, and these black spots around her body. This gives her the nickname the skull crusher, as if by crushing the skull of his prey, he gets prey about 2 to 3 times the reason why all of Elephant Odyssey was redone. It took a lot of collaboration to build this area, between our construction crews, our care specialists, and the ground team, to build an environment with the enrichment that they deserve. Here at the San Diego Zoo, we have a total of 4 African elephants, 3 young boys and 1 elder female. This is our elder female, everyone. She's 45 years old. She is a great-grandmother in the elephant world. So, she's also distinct between those two types, but she is our matriarch here at the zoo. If you don't know what a matriarchy is, that means that the eldest female in the family rules all. That's no different than your grandmother or your great-grandmother being in charge of the family. But in the elephant world, they're passed down knowledge from time immemorial to help survive during the harsh conditions out there in the savannah. And without the matriarch, the whole herd can disappear. So she plays a vital role in the protection and future of the species. Elephant is a pedigree to think of a higher quality of life, just leaving every task from creating the bottom of their feet. Looks like you'll have a good view of another of our elephants here to your right side. Now, we have 3 young boys, 2 younger brothers. Those are the 2 you're seeing there on your right side. They are 14 and 15 years old. And we have our oldest boy that we'll be able to see in a little bit. He's 21 years old. As you look at the elephant, do know that sadly they are one of the most poached animals in our world. This has to do because of their beautiful ivory tusks. Ivory is a non-abundant resource, highly valuable, used for ornamental value in ancient medicine. But because the only way to get it from an elephant is by force, which leads to their death, it's also led us to find a lot of orphan baby elephants that still need their mother's milk. We're part of a conservation group called Vertetti Africa that takes care of these orphan baby elephants, and then we introduce them to new wild herds. Some of the collaborative efforts we've done is that when our elephants were born in our safari park, we took samples of their mother's milk. And we ended up learning that elephant milk is very similar to goat's milk. This now allows you to be able to tell him apart as he has this bigger tusk compared with all of them. Hopefully you enjoyed this view of him, but we're slowly making our way right next door to the home of our one-hump camels, also known as the dromedary. We have two sisters that call it home. You'll see one of them pretty well. So far, they're all known as charismatic species. This means that they're good-looking with good personality traits and positive connotations. Such wildlife are our lions, strong and powerful. You're looking at our elephants, seen as gentle giants. Even those camels represented well through films and products. But there are wildlife in our world known as non-charismatic species. It means that they're not good looking, they're not portrayed well, they do things we don't like. Such wildlife right away, not the best looking wildlife in our world, has a bald little red head, colorations aren't the best, and some of you might even recognize the bird from Western films. This is the bird that circles up in the air when something's about to pass away. Because of this, people see them as bad omens, signals of death, and even seen as bad omens. So, because they represent badly, brought them here into a zoological setting. And throughout the years, we've been able to raise, but we've now made our way here to the meerkats. And you heard me right, I said meerkats, because a group of them is known as a mob. Each one of the mob members here has a job, from scavenging for food, creating tunnelways, looking out up to the sky. That's the one I'll look at, reading, making sure there are no predators. Some teaching happens around here, so roughhousing as well. There's always some roads at playtime. But as cute as they are, do know that they eat some of the more interesting things in the world, as they do love eating scorpions and snakes. There's the hornbill trumpeters, also home to some smaller wildlife such as the rock hyrax, the dwarf mongoose, and right across from them is our serval. We're now heading out to the Ethiopian highlands above Africa rocks on our right side, and we'll talk about the wildlife that's out here in just a little bit. But what I'd like you all to notice at the moment is the plants themselves. These plants are all drought-resistant plants, which allows us to create a more natural environment for the wildlife, but it also allows us to protect the plant species, as that even though they are drought-resistant, they've been affected by major droughts. What we do here to protect them is we collect their seeds, their pollen, their sproutlings, and we then repropagate all of it back in their natural environments, ensuring that they don't disappear from the natural world. You too can do similar things like this in your local environment, helping plant native plants, helping native pollinators, native wildlife, and especially migratory wildlife, such as butterflies. Coming up to your right, you'll see the entrance to the urban jungle, home to the greater one-horned rhino, the Maasai giraffe, cheetah, zebra, donkey, porcupine, binturong, kookaburra, and much more. And if you haven't gone in there yet, I do want to let you know that we have a baby giraffe in there, everyone. It was born this last 4th of July, so go on in and see. But we're now making our final descent, and we're heading down Center Street. And Center Street is one of the original roads built here at the San Diego Zoo, virtually unchanged in our over 100-year history. And we lovingly call it Bear Canyon. And as the name states, well, they hope to see some bears. The first bear we're looking for, everyone, is known as a sloth bear. Both two are female, named Shala, and her two twin cubs. Feel free to stand up if you need a better view, everyone. Now, the two twin cubs were actually born this last December, so they have gotten quite big, quite fast. But as we look at them, I want you to note that sloth bears are not slothful. Now, What their mother was teaching them was to forage for food in dumpsters, which is a no-no for them, as it means to become desensitized and accustomed to our human food, potentially posing a risk of them breaking into our homes for their next meal. Now, I do want to let you know that Kartik likes to walk really close to us. He's right to the left side, making his way to the right. He's right behind these bushes. So if you need to stand up, you're free to do so. But I want you to note that as cute as a sloth bear is and as small as they are, in their natural environments, they fight tigers. And they are the only bear species to do this, believe it or not. They are known for their bad attitudes and their sharp claws. So the sloth bear is a very dangerous wildlife. Up to our male named Turbo. You see him there on the top of the back of the home, everyone. Now this bear is the only bear found in South America. It's also the only bear found south of the equator in the world. Because of this, it's seen as a big threat in their natural environments by farmers, as we believe that this bear is the main reason that their livestock's going missing. So we conducted a study in their natural environments, and what we studied was their poop. And what we learned was that these bears are much more vegetarian than anything, falsely accused of the crimes we so-called been committing. Of course, not enough to teach public perception, but definitely enough to add more protections for this wildlife in our forest. And hopefully you're able to see that lighter brown he has on his face, goes between and around his eyes. And this is why they get the name spectacle bears, because it makes it look like they're wearing glasses. But we're now heading back into the Lost Forest, and this part of our zoo is one of the physically denser areas in plant life, also one of the physically coolest, and one of the freshest breaths of air you're going to get in all of San Diego. We've seen many wildlife that rely on these forest regions, and it's up to us to protect it, but you might be wondering how. Well, by buying environmentally friendly, sustainable, and by buying those higher quality goods, can we ensure that we take less materials away from our forest region. And whatever we do buy, we end up getting bang for our buck. Once you're done with the product, you can sell it to somebody else, you can recycle it, and we made it something new. If you did dispose of it in an environmentally friendly fashion, it's ensuring that we all become fearless for wildlife and friends for change. Now that we're at the very bottom, we're right in front of Flamme Cafe, one of our other restaurants. But we're now heading off towards Conrad Previn's Africa Rocks. And the first habitat that will be coming up towards your left side will be a home that, or feel free to just pick up some trash. No matter what you choose to, as long as you start with something today, then we have positive impact. And this ensures that we can all make it work, where all might thrive. As we now approach the unloading dock here.